Hey honey, welcome to my channel Design by Ada. My name is Teresa and I'm a professional fashion designer here to teach you all of my secrets so that you can succeed in the fashion industry. So today I want to share with you how you will nail that job interview. I have done many job interviews and I have learned a lot along the way. And so today I want to pass on my experiences so that you can learn from them and so that you can prepare and nail that job interview. Okay, you ready? Let's go. So, number one, you need to have an amazing portfolio. As a designer, your portfolio needs to be showcasing your best work. So if you're coming straight from school, you will have your best designs, your best collections, the best work that you have done. And if you have work experience, you will pull some designs from each of the jobs that you have done, and you will just assemble all the best stuff. And be sure to include different things. So like have a variety. Like if you have done, for me, I have done kids wear, men's wear, women's wear, sports wear. I've done wedding dresses, like I've done so many different things. So then I would choose a few designs from each of those categories to show variety, to show that I can design many different things. And this is just a sample of what I can do. So the portfolio is very important, and it's probably something that you have ready already, or that you know that you need to get ready before you go to a job interview, right? So do you want to make it physical? Do you want to make it digital? That's up to you. My advice is to make it clean and professional looking. And if you have your logo, or maybe you typically write your name in a special font or something, or a special color, use that. You want your portfolio to be in line with your resume and your application. So when I started applying for jobs as a fashion designer, I had made my own little logo. Right now, I don't think it's very nice, but back then I was very proud of it. And I would put my logo on top of the application and on top of the resume and also on my portfolio. So it would just look cohesive, it would look professional. They would see me as a designer because it was all like put nicely together, right? So that's a good tip. Now for the application, make sure you are personal, make sure you talk about you, and make sure that you have something on the application that makes it stand out a little bit. Because imagine if you are the person hiring and you receive hundreds of applications and they're all saying, oh, I love this job, I really want to work for you, your brand is so great, I would be so happy to work for you, I would do everything for you, and everyone is just like bragging about the brand and how amazing they would be in that job, right? So how are you going to stand out? Simple trick, use colored paper. Or use something like a logo or an image, or you want to use clean professional fonts. So don't go crazy on like handwriting calligraphy fonts. Don't do that. But find a way to make some visible something on your application so it's remembered. One time, many years ago, I would apply for jobs even if the jobs weren't posted, they weren't listed, because there was a brand that I really, really, really wanted to work for. So I would send them an application and a resume and tell them about me as a designer and hope that maybe if they were looking for a designer one day, they would reach out. So I had done this, and then I think a year or two had gone by, and then they listed a job and opening, and they were looking for a designer. So I submitted a new application and an updated resume, and I said I really wanted to work there. And they, because I always do this thing where I put my logo on the application and the resume and everything, they remembered having seen my logo before. So when they got my application along with so many other applications, they were like, wait, this person has applied before. And then they would look through their shelves or cabinets or whatever, and they found my old application. And that gave me a leg up, because then they knew that I really wanted to work for them. I was really interested in that brand. And then I was called in for an interview. It made me stand out, and it made me remember me. Made them remember me. Okay? So it's a good tip. Next, you need to do research, because you're applying for a job to work with a company or to design something for a brand. You need to know something about them. You need to know what their philosophies are, what their values are, what their what their designs look like, so that you can speak to them during the interview. And a little tip, if you're applying for a job with a brand or a company and their logo color, their brand color is bright yellow, maybe wear something bright yellow to the interview. It doesn't have to be big. It can be a sweater that's yellow, or a jacket, or maybe just a headband, or just a small thing. Maybe your purse is yellow. Something that makes them think that you look the part, like you would fit in there. Okay? Because if they see you and their brand color, it just does something to how they think of you. And then they can, think, does she fit in here? Yeah, she does. Okay. So that's just a little tip. But you need to be prepared, because they may ask you questions like, okay, so why are you right for this job? So why should we hire you and not all the other applicants? So how would you go about designing a collection for us? Where would you find the inspiration to design something for us? They will ask you many different questions, and in order to give the right answers to get you the job, you need to know a little bit about them before you go to the interview. So do your research, know something about the brand, and have some thoughts on how you would design for them. And a little tip, again, many little tips. Okay, so I usually design something for that brand ahead of time. I don't always do this, but when I have the time, I do this. So I would come into the interview and I would show my portfolio, and I would, I'd already given them my application and my resume, and I would present myself, and I would talk to them and answer questions, and I would surprise them by showing them a little mini collection, some sample designs, showing how I would design for that brand if they were to hire me. It really gives me a leg up, because then it's not just looking at other designs that I've done for other brands. It's actually how I would work and how I would design for that brand. And it really makes them want to hire you if the designs are good. Okay? So yeah, do that. It's important that you know who you are, and that you know what your strengths are and your weaknesses. One time when I was in a job interview, I had to travel to go to that job interview. So I had to take a plane, and I had to take a train, and I had to get up super early in the morning to get there on time. So I was really super tired, and I had been drinking 3 Red Bulls just to be focused and energetic and not be sleepy when I was entering the job interview. So I came in there and I was pretty pumped. I had 3 Red Bulls. So during the job interview, I was just like, yes, I would do this like that. I would do this like that. I know fashion design. I would just be so confident and so energetic. And I was like, I could answer every question. Everything was great. And then one of the interviewers, the boss guy, would ask me, okay, so I see the confidence, where's the humility? And then it was, because I know myself, it was easy for me to answer that question. And I would answer it like this: I am confident because I'm a good designer. Fashion design, colors, fabrics, designing clothes, that's my strength. That's why I'm confident in this area and everything that you're asking me about this. If you were to put me in the accounting department and ask me to do accounting and do the books, you would see humble. I would be asking for help, okay? Because that's not my strength. So humility comes when I don't know what I'm doing, and I would be honest and say, I do not know this. This is something that I need to learn. Please help me. But in fashion design, I know what I'm doing, and you can trust that I will do a good job. See? Because I knew what my weaknesses are, I was able to answer that question well and show them that I'm a full person and I have strong suits and I have weaknesses, and I have things that I'm really good at and I have things that I'm not so good at, like doing accounting. I can do math, but I hate doing accounting, okay? I'm sorry, I hate doing that. So yeah, so that's how you do that. You want to be awake, you want to be focused, you want to be alert, you want to be able to listen to what they're saying. Many interviewers actually spend so much time talking that they forget to ask you any questions. This has happened a few times. They will just go on and on about how amazing the brand is or how amazing the company is and how everyone loves working there and how I would be so lucky to have that job. And they forget to ask any questions. If that happens, you need to try to find a way to tell them something about yourself. Because if you walk out of there and you haven't said anything, how will they know that they need to hire you? Okay, then you will say, oh, okay, that's really interesting because I've been working on that before and I also do that. I also use those fabrics. And yes, I had the same problem with that zipper. I know exactly what you mean. You need to just insert your experience, your opinion, your something into the conversation so that they can remember you and know that they need to hire you. You need to be prepared for tough questions. Many people that I've been interviewed by have asked me things like, so why are you right for this job? So why should we hire you? And I remember this one interview. I came straight from school, no job experience, and I went to the interview and they said, okay, so you're 24, don't have any experience. You're up against a 40-year-old with 20 years experience. Why should we hire you? And I was just like, all right, what am I going to say? So I had already thought about this before I went into the interview, so I had an answer ready. And my answer was, okay, I'm young, don't have the job experience, but I want to learn and I want this job so badly that I will work day and night. I will work super hard to make the best collections for you that I can make. And I will just be I will be able to mold into this brand's identity. I will be able to design things fresh. Does that make sense? Because a designer who has been doing it for 20 years, a lot of them are pretty set in their ways. So, okay, I know some designers who pretty much design the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's a different pattern, but the designs are very similar and they kind of get stuck, And in fashion, you cannot get stuck. You need to always keep fresh, keep new, keep designing things for next year and for the next year and for next year. You can't be stuck in what you did 20 years ago and 10 years ago. So that was my advantage, coming in young and fresh and willing to work super hard because I wasn't bored with the job. I was just super energetic, super hungry for the job. So they gave me the job. Even if I didn't have any experience, they gave me the job because I was able to convince them that I would do the job very well. So if you don't have any job experience, don't worry, you can still get the job. You just need to be confident and sure that you can do a good job, and you need to convince them that you can do it. Okay? So questions that I would ask if I was going to hire a new designer, I would ask technical questions, because I have interviewed designers before and they will say in the interview that, oh yeah, I know Adobe Illustrator. Yeah. I have experience with that, yes. And then they were hired and they did not know Adobe Illustrator and they were not productive for months. That's not okay. But a lot of people do this. A lot of people lie on the interview just to get the job. And then they're like, oh, sorry, I must have misunderstood, or something like that. It's not okay. So if I was going to interview a designer right now, I would ask questions like, so how do you draw the flats? How do you make the seamless patterns? How do you make the stitches? I would ask specific questions about how they do things in Adobe Illustrator, because I would want to make sure that they know what they're doing and that they can do it fast. Super important, because in this job, you have to work fast. I usually design hundreds of garments when I'm doing a collection, and I can't spend a whole day designing something because I don't know how to draw it, or I don't know how to, make that button or that label or, things like this. The technical aspect cannot be holding me back and costing me valuable time. And that's super important in the designers I would want to hire as well. So I'm not saying that someone is going to ask you these questions. I'm saying if I were going to interview you, I would be asking these questions. So just be prepared, be honest, be real about what you know and what you don't know, and be willing to learn. Always be willing to learn. Okay? So how should you prepare? You should research the brand or the company you're applying for a job with. You should know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You should be ready to answer tough questions about how do you actually design that? So what do you actually know about these fabrics? You should share your experience, even if they don't ask you about it. You should tell them if you know how to sew or knit or make patterns. You should definitely tell them if you have a network of people you've been working with. Maybe you have many producers you have worked with for many years. Maybe you have experience working with graphic designers and you know how to make prints. Maybe you have some experience in marketing, so you can not only design the clothes, but you can also talk to the marketing department, or maybe you are the marketing department, and if it's a small company. So know what you want to tell them. What is it that they need to know about you to hire you? Why in the world should they hire you? You need to know the answer to this question before walking in there. Don't just answer everything on the spot. Have your answers ready ahead of time. Just anticipate what the questions will be. Know the brand. Know what you would do as a designer working for them. Maybe have some examples. Like, okay, so I know you have these pants that have been doing very well for the past few years. I've seen a new fabric that would be so good for the seat of these pants to make them even stronger, even more durable. Or have you tried the new buttons that change colors when it gets cold? Like, whatever it is, if you have something, some ideas, some new elements or something that can make their existing styles better, share that with them. If you have good ideas, share them. They want a designer who can be independent and who can think on her own and who can do more than they ask for. Okay? So if you can revolutionize their collection and make them more money, they will love you and they will hire you. Okay, so share your ideas. Don't be shy. It's not the time to be shy. I have actually coached many of my friends when they are going into job interviews, and they are all so afraid of telling the people they're interviewing with what they're good at. And I keep telling them, if you don't tell them what they're good at, what you're good at, how are they going to know? If you are super good at sewing and you don't tell them that, how are they going to know? If you're super good with colors or making amazing prints and you don't tell them, how are they going to know? Seriously, the job interview is not the time to be shy. You need to tell them exactly why they should hire you, and better yet, show them. Make a presentation of yourself, dress to impress, and nail that job interview. Okay, so you have stayed all the way to the end of this video, and now you're gonna get my bonus tip, my very special bonus tip, okay? So when I was in fashion school, one of my teachers told us, when you go into a job interview, you want to surprise them, and you want to give them something that the other designers don't give them, okay? So all the designers applying for a job will come in there with their portfolio, and they will be dressed sharply, and they will answer all the questions, and like that. What you can do that's like a little extra is make a little presentation about you, who you are as a designer. You can make it as a PowerPoint presentation, a little catalog, a little something to present who you are. I did this. I remember I got the job straight from school with no experience, and I was responsible for an entire kidswear collection from day one, okay? So in order to get the job, you want to tell them who you are. So my presentation looked like this. It had like some images and a few words. So for example, I remember one image was like a satellite image, just open, wide satellite, and it said open-minded. And I explained to them, so I'm very open-minded, meaning I pay attention to everything going on around me. So if I see something happening in a culture or on TV or news, or I see trends coming in, I will pick up on that, because I always keep my antennas out. I'm always like looking for new trends, looking for new color combinations, for new fabrics, for new solutions, for new technical ways of doing things. Very like open and perceptive and receiving impulses all the time. And it helps me stay ahead of the rest. That was one thing for me. Another thing for me was a picture of some like wooden clogs with wheels on them. And I would say untraditional, meaning I like to take traditional style things and I like to fuse it with something else to create something new. Or I like to just take something so classic and so traditional, take it apart and put it together in a new way to give it a new functionality, a new look, a new aesthetic, a new something. And that's how you keep it fresh. So the presentation that's about you is just to show how you think, how you would go about designing, and why they should hire you. And it really helps, because seeing designs from different portfolios all day long, pretty sure it's just gonna like mush together in their head, and maybe they will remember one design, but they're gonna be like, okay, so was that from her or from her? And it's just gonna blend together when they see so many designs and interview a lot of people. But if you can make a presentation about you, it will make it much more likely that they will remember you. Okay? So smile, be professional, show your work, and also present yourself as a designer, and you will get the job. Pretty sure. Okay? So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit the bell. And I will keep sharing all of my secrets with you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.